Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Do you hear me? Yes. All right. Great to see so many people who are just wanting to view the different projects or are here to support their friends or families. So I'm very grateful to have all of you watching at this first annual Synergy competition in Canada. So I'll be your host. My name is Francois from Montreal. I believe we have people joining in from around the world. So welcome. We're very happy to have you all. So before we begin, let me share the program with you. We'll first have introductory remarks about about Synergy, YSP Canada. What is YSP Canada? And then we'll go into introductions of our judges and our teams and how it will work. And then we'll have a time where you, the audience, can vote for your favorite presentations. Exciting, get excited. Okay, so let's start off with why are we doing this? Why are we here? So today is the International Volunteer Day, as recognized by the United Nations. So we here at YSP, which YSP stands for Youth and Students for Peace. So Youth and Students for Peace here in Canada, we found it fitting to have our Synergy competition today, an International Volunteer Day. For those of you who don't know, YSP was known under the banner before as Youth Federation for World Peace. And this was founded by Reverend Dr. Sun Myung Moon and his wife, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon. They're from Korea, hence the name. So it's wonderful that a couple started this program, and now it's been rebranded as Youth and Students for Peace. It's an international association, which means there's chapters all over the world, and here in Canada, we just started it. The purpose for YSP. So why did the founders create this, and why are we doing this here in Canada? I'm just going to quote something she said. She calls on young people to become champions of peace and leaders who can bring about social transformation for the sake of sustainable peace. So the idea is really peace, making peace part of our daily vocabulary. We want to, from not necessarily resolving wars. We don't have this in Canada, but we have different issues, different conflicts in Canada. And we want to raise young people to become leaders of peace, examples of peace. So this is why what we're doing here. So to do so, at a broader scale, YSP decided to support the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, 17 SDGs. Has any of you heard of the Sustainable Development Goals? It's these were developed by the United Nations. And so again, I quote from the founder, however, governments alone cannot achieve the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. It requires a wide range of partnerships among governments, civil society, the private sector, faith-based organizations, and individual citizens. So we here at YSP Canada are taking it on our shoulders to find these partners. And so we found three wonderful teams who will be presenting today, and we're glad to support them in their efforts to support the 17 SDGs. So what is Synergy? The Synergy competition, it's, I guess, an activity that YSP does, and it's a platform for students and young people. And by young people, we mean under the age of 40. So a lot of people are young, and we want to support them so that they can share their projects and ideas in a professional setting. So Synergy stands for Students, Idea, and Energy. A group of judges made up of distinguished leaders, which I'll introduce later, of the community vote along with the audience on the best idea and presentation. The winners receive a grant to help further their idea or project. Okay, so before we begin, just to explain briefly how it works, we have three teams, three judges. They'll be giving a presentation, 7 to 10 minutes. The judges have an option to ask a question, only one question per team. And then afterwards, there will be a voting. The judge's evaluation is worth 70%, and the audience is worth 30%. So it still counts. First place gets $400, second $300, and the third place $200. And more excitingly, the top two presentations will get to go to what we call a continental synergy competition. So the top two presentations will get to present at another synergy level against the USA. So against the top two from the US. And the winner of Canada-US will get to go to the international level, which has not been determined yet, but probably South Korea. That's right, they get a partially paid trip to South Korea to present their idea. If COVID permitting. If COVID is not permit, if it doesn't permit, then you'll do it via Zoom, which is, I guess, the second best thing. So, okay, so we'll just move on to the judges. We have three wonderful judges, and I'm very grateful to have them. They agreed to be here. The first one is Joanne Vio. So let me introduce her. A lot to say about Joanne. She has been involved in community work all her life. By profession, she is a social worker. She was particularly involved in community-based action approaches to solving poverty. She has also worked for a provincial government department, acting as consultant/advisor for startup businesses. She had the title Commissaire au Développement Économique. During that time, she helped young entrepreneurs and the self-employed to start their businesses on the right footing. Currently, she is pursuing a master's degree in social work. Yes, that's right, everyone. She recently returned to university. It's never too late to return. Other than her very active and ongoing career, her lifetime hobby has been horses. From my understanding, she used to run a ranch. So pretty cool stuff. Joanne, thank you for being here. Moving on, Franco. So Reverend Dr. Franco Famularo, if I get that right. Born and raised in Montreal, he comes from an Italian family who emigrated here back in 1955. Franco has traveled extensively abroad, completing different service and interfaith work. He received a master's degree from the Unification Theological Seminary in New York back in '94. Thereafter, he returned to Montreal, where for a time he was involved in business, acting as treasurer and general manager for Vide Velour. Vide Velour, it's a wonderful health product. I personally still use it sometimes. Franco, like Joanne, also decided to return to his studies recently, and earlier this year, Franco completed a doctorate in ministry from the Unification Theological Seminary. Currently, Franco is chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Unification Theological Seminary, and he is the first to do so not living in the US. He also serves as the president of Family Federation for World Peace and the Universal Peace Federation in Canada. Reverend Dr. Franco has a wonderful Japanese wife, Chizuru, with whom they share the joy of their daughter, Nadia. Franco, we appreciate having you on the panel of judges. Now, finally, we have Emanuela Lembropoulos. So the Honorable Emanuela has been representing the federal riding of Saint Laurent, the riding she was born, raised, and resides in the House of Commons since 2017. That's right, Emanuela is a millennial. So she was elected to parliament in her 20s, and I still remember that time because I live in Saint Laurent. Prior to her election, Emanuela was a high school teacher at various schools within the English Montreal School Board. Preceding her career as a teacher, Emanuela worked as a resource aide with students who had learning disabilities and autism from 2009 to 2013, all the while obtaining her bachelor's degree in education at McGill University. Emanuela has since obtained her Master's of Arts in Educational Leadership at McGill in the spring of 2020. Congratulations. Throughout her years as an educator, Emanuela developed a passion for social change and entered Canadian politics to help make Canada a fairer place for all by advocating for equality, inclusion, and diversity. Most recently, Emanuela sat on the Industry, Science, and Technology Committee, where she and her colleagues studied the state of Canadian industry during the COVID-19 pandemic. So, to which she emphasized the importance of a green recovery and building back better. During her time on the Standing Committee on the Status of Women, Emanuela always ensured that the most vulnerable women were spoken for and were included in government programs in order to help improve their lives. She was recently appointed to the Committee of Public Safety and National Security. Honorable Emanuela, thank you for being with us today. Now, moving on to the main program, we'll start off with the different teams. So we have 3 teams. They are, first team will be Arrêté Exploitation Hub, represented by Rafaela and Tabitha. Team 2, Through Their Eyes, by Miriam and Sana from McGill University to Club at McGill. And the last one will be a Toronto initiative called Unite into One from Sasha. So let's start off. Let's kick it off with Rafaela and Tabitha. Take it away.
Okay, I think you can hear me now. Is that right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Rafaela Diaz-Baez.
My name is Tabitha Wilson.
And we are part of the project Arrêté Exploitation Hub. Who are we? We are a non-religious, non-partisan campaign seeking to stop sexual exploitation in Quebec and in Canada. We're based in Montreal, and we aim to raise awareness of the hosting and profiting of non-consensual pornography, trafficking, child sex abuse, and rape occurring on MindGeek's pornographic website, Pornhub. We seek to fight for equality for every human being and justice for those who have been exploited and used as a commodity by MindGeek and Pornhub.
So who is MindGeek? Well, MindGeek is a Montreal-founded company who market themselves as a tech company, yet they don't say what kind of tech they do, and that they own the majority of the global porn industry. If you look to the right on this slide, we've actually pinpointed exactly where MindGeek is in Montreal, just off DeCarry Boulevard, opposite the Orange Julep. So MindGeek not only owns the popular porn sites, Pornhub being the most popular, but also film studios and production companies within the pornographic industry.
So Pornhub is the self-proclaimed largest and most popular porn site in the world. In 2019, Pornhub had 115 million visits per day, and every minute there was an average of 2.8 hours of content uploaded. Videos on Pornhub, like YouTube, are user-generated. So that means that anybody can take a video on their phone, on their computer, and upload it to Pornhub. But over the past 2 years, Pornhub have received global attention due to some videos containing real sexual exploitation of women and children. You guys might have read the New York Times piece yesterday that came out talking about this issue, the exploitation happening on Pornhub and MindGeek. So this is super, super relevant right now, and it's kind of exploded here in Canada and North America over the last 24 hours. So this kind of exploitation is very evident by doing a simple search on Pornhub. A search for girls under 18, no space, led to more than 100,000 videos come up. Just want to preface that not every single video was abuse and sexual exploitation, but too many of them were.
So if we want to talk about evidence of illegal content, I mean, I can talk about one young woman in particular, a 14-year-old, her name is Rose Kalemba, who was abducted and raped. And after this horrific event, her rape was actually uploaded onto Pornhub, and the videos had titles like teen crying and getting slapped around, teen getting destroyed, passed out teen, and these were uploaded onto Pornhub. So when Rose found out that this content was being streamed online, she quickly contacted Pornhub by email, begging them to take down this content. She let them know that this was not anything consensual, but it was rape. And nothing happened. Over a period of 6 months, she repeatedly reached out to them and she never heard back. Finally, out of desperation, Rose decided to pose as a lawyer. So she set up an email account and she sent Pornhub an email threatening legal action if they didn't take this content down, if they didn't take the videos of her rape down. And within 48 hours, every single video disappeared. And this is really just one story. I mean, I can go on. There was a story, and I know I say story, but these aren't stories, you know, these are young women who have experienced rape and abuse. And so there was also a 15-year-old girl who went missing for about a year until she was found by her mother in 58 videos on adult sites, including Pornhub. The Internet Watch Foundation has also investigated and confirmed over 100 cases of child sexual abuse on Pornhub.
Yeah, so why does this keep happening? Well, Pornhub does not reliably verify age or consent. So users can very easily create a profile with just a photo and a username to prove that they're over 18, but it is very easy to forge. And we were also really shocked to learn that each video, MindGeek have said, is checked by a team of human moderators. So this means that a group of people are employed by MindGeek to apparently watch every single video that gets uploaded. But with 2.8 hours of content uploaded a minute, it's kind of impossible to check every single video. And it also means that they're just watching these videos and guessing the age of the participants. I know how hard it is myself to guess somebody's age when they're face to face, but let alone guessing on a video.
So what is Arrêtez Exploitation Hub doing about this? Well, since September, every single Thursday, a group of brave individuals are congregating outside of MindGeek headquarters in Montreal on DeCarry Boulevard to raise awareness of the illegal content on Pornhub. So we interact with those walking by on the street, and we educate those willing to listen about the sexual exploitation of women and children. So from 3 to 5 p.m., we're demanding justice for these victims. Come rain or shine, come winter, come snow, we will be there every Thursday standing up for those who are even today victims of sexual exploitation. Our goals are to end exploitation on Pornhub. If there's no consent, there really shouldn't be any content. And we also want to raise awareness to this issue in Canada. We're desiring justice for these victims, and we really want to end the download features on these kinds of videos, because that enables people to just perpetuate the rape by re-uploading it. And we want our government to form protective legislation for women and children, specifically around age verification. What would we do with this grant money that is being offered, this prize money? Well, we would really want bilingual posters. We are in Montreal, so there is a vast majority of French-speaking people. So we would like to have English and French posters. To the right on this slide, you actually see a few samples of what we would like to have done. We also need posters that are going to be durable for the rain, the snow, and the cold weather. We would like small informational cards that we can hand out to those who want to get more involved in our movement of Arrêtez Exploitation Hub. We're also currently building a website, and of course, there are costs related to that when it comes to sustaining and hosting this domain name.
So we believe we fit into two of YSP's sustainable development goals. Goal 16 for peace, justice, and strong institutions. And I think we fit pretty perfectly with wanting to end abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence against children. But also we believe we fit into Goal 5 for gender equality, because unfortunately, the gender that is being exploited usually are women, and sadly, mostly young girls. And also the biggest consumers of the pornographic industry are usually men. So we really see this as a gender crime. As I said earlier, there has really been a big explosion overnight about Pornhub and what's been happening globally. And so we really feel like we are moving in this momentum. Our small campaign is moving along with the tide, and hopefully we are helping raise awareness about this. On September the 30th, Quebec Senator Julie Melville-Deschênes introduced a bill to restrict young persons' online access to sexually explicit material. So that's happening right now in the Senate of Canada. There's also a petition being sponsored by MP Arnold Viersen, calling on the House of Commons to pass Bill S203 as well. And he's been very, very outspoken in his concerns about MindGeek and the exploitation that is happening. And also, we've been really lucky to form some strong connections with organizations around the world. Since September, we are in relationship with Defend Dignity, which is a Canadian organization, Philia, which is a feminist organization in the UK, and also Trafficking Hub in the USA, which have an incredible petition going around right now that has over 2 million signatures to shut down. So we hope that you can agree that sexual exploitation is wrong and it should be eradicated. Pornhub, owned by MindGeek, has disregarded the safety of their consumers by profiting from the exploitation of rape, abuse, and the violence of others. As young women, Tabitha and I are extremely passionate about this movement, this issue, and we ask you to support us in protecting Canadians and fellow human beings around the world and to bring about peace, because we need your help. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rafaela, Tabitha, for your passionate presentation. We're really grateful that you decided to participate in the Synergy event. Now for the judges, I'll go first from my left. Emanuela, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, actually, I would. First of all, I want to say thank you guys, Rafaela and Tabitha, for that amazing presentation. Your passion really shows in the way that you speak, and the topic that you guys have picked is incredibly important, and I can tell that it really means a lot to you, and it absolutely should, because the fact that this is happening is disgusting. And not many people know about it, and honestly, not many people talk about it. So it's really good that you guys are raising awareness, and I want to just encourage you to continue doing that. You mentioned at the end about petitions, and that there are some going on around the world, and you mentioned one in Canada, and I think that petitions are a great way to actually bring your voices to the House of Commons. I know that you mentioned that there's an MP already who's kind of championing S203. But to be honest, like, it's not something that we really hear about very much, because there's a lot going on right now in Canada and a lot of issues that we're dealing with. However, I also haven't heard about it yet on the Public Safety Committee. I'm wondering what you would be able to do to make sure that the government takes more action on this. So I'm an MP, and obviously I'm listening to this, and it's something that interests me very much. And so I'd be really happy to work with you guys. And but what do you think? I guess if we were to do a study on this in the Public Safety Committee, what specifically would you want us to be able to do?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think you're right that not many people do know about this issue, and educating people is really, really important. I think for us, we're really trying to specifically look at age verification, that you really, we need to make sure that the people in these films are above 18. And there needs to be better ways to moderate that. It's not, it doesn't cut it by just guessing somebody's age. So that's really important for us. And also consent, that is a little bit harder to monitor, but that everybody in that film is consensual, that they have given consent. And then also for us, the download option is also something that we were really shocked about, that on YouTube, you can't download videos. So why should you be able to download videos on these pornographic websites? And then of course that perpetuates that, and it's just shared again and again. And these girls have had their videos taken down, but then a couple of months later, they resurface as well. So I think those three issues are really important to try and change in legislation.
Okay, thank you. Judge Franco, would you like to ask a question?
All right, thank you. This was a very, very important and urgent issue that was addressed in this last presentation. And I am also very aware of the article that came out, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago in the New York Times, and the fact that our Prime Minister is concerned about this matter. And since we have a member of Parliament from the very party that the Prime Minister represents, I think it's even more important that it really becomes an issue that is taken up. So my issue is the feasibility of what you're trying to achieve. You know, there are so many issues concerning rights and who has the right to speak, and it's an art form, etc. How do you intend to address that?
I can take that. I think it's really important that we're not saying it's the whole pornographic industry should be taken down. I mean, that can be my personal opinion or Tabitha's or anybody else's, but what we're really, really looking at is that no human being, a video should be online and not have their consent for that. That should just be a human right, that if I asked for that to be taken down, it should be taken down. So I think that's really, really important. So that's what we're really championing, that that the rights of people should be listened to and should be heard, and you should be able to say, I don't want that to be up because it's me up there. I think that's really important. Tabitha, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to that.
Oh, I think that's really good. And the only thing I would add is also the idea that there are minors that this is being done to. So actually there's not supposed to be minor pornography. That's not legal. And yet it's happening. And if you do searches on Pornhub, you will find minor pornography, you know, and so that just directly shouldn't be something that happens. So that's what I would add. The whole art form, I understand what you're saying, and I hear that. So we're really wanting to target that which is non-consensual and that which is of children and minors specifically.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So last judge, Joanne, do you have a question for Raphael and Tabitha?
Okay, so my regarding of everything that was said prior by the other judges, I do agree with them, and I did listen to an interview with the MP that's involved into this. That's where she was concluding that we could protect more, and knowing that in that study that just got out 2 days ago, that it is being asked for Canada to intervene law-wise, because this platform is actually posting illegal videos, like you mentioned. So my question is how can you, how do you girls perceive the fact that you do not, in your intervention, you're not asking to stop this platform that's implemented in Montreal, which is really, when you hear about this and you learn about it, become more, how could I say, it's knowing that it's happening right now in Montreal is really outrageous, I could say. So by asking to recognize the consent, like you said, it's very, very, very hard to put that into motion. But to ask our government to tell us or to close it down, wouldn't that be like the big aim that should be put forward regarding pornography and this platform?
Yeah, are you talking about consent?
That would be my question.
The consent.
Which is being very hard to.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the
How
problem.
to do that?
Yeah, I think the problem is that the model, the business structure of Pornhub is that it's user generated. So they make their money by people just uploading whatever they want on, and they have subscriptions, so people can subscribe to Pornhub and pay a monthly subscription fee and get this content. So if that was taken down, it would be a really big hit if that was changed, that business model. But there's too many flaws, and so it does need to be changed. And so I think previously, when it first started, it was actors. So they had their own production companies, and it was actors acting. And now that's with the rise of YouTube and things, that's really changed. But you're right, it is extremely difficult. We don't have all the answers for this. This is why I think it's really important that we are, first of all, trying to educate, to tell people about it that don't know, to raise awareness, and to work with other organizations that have the infrastructure to try and bring it to Parliament.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I'm sure we would like to talk about this more, but we'll move on to our next team. Okay. Joanne, could you mute yourself again? I'm so sorry. I think there's a feedback from your computer. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to team number 2. So this is a team club from McGill University through their eyes. So Miriam and Sana, take it away.
So hello everyone, my name is Miriam.
And my name is Sana.
and we are executives of Through Their Eyes, a McGill University charity and humanitarian club that is focused on supporting orphans, their families, and well-being. Inspired by the UN Sustainable Development Goals, today we will be talking about the link of these initiatives to the orphan crisis and some sustainable projects youth can implement with the support of YSP.
So the orphan crisis affects one of the largest groups in the world. Approximately 140 million orphans worldwide are vulnerable to poverty and sickness. However, studies have shown that current solutions such as orphanages have negative impacts on the development and growth of the children. New statistics show that having familial support, affirmation, and affection are necessary for development, but they are often neglected in these solutions. According to UNICEF data, 90% of the orphan children around the world actually have at least one living parent who is forced to give away their child because of extenuating circumstances. Developmental support and opportunities given to children are necessary basic needs, but they are not found in these solutions. Supporting the underprivileged children today grants them empowerment to make changes in their future and pulls them out of the limitations of their circumstances.
So why support orphans and their families specifically? Supporting orphans has numerous global benefits. Orphans Lifeline Charity mentions that orphans with both physical and mental support are able to grow up to be responsible, healthy adults who give back to the community, improving the situation for others. Orphans deserve to be happy and safe just like the rest of us. Could you imagine how desperate you would be if you were an orphan and part of the most vulnerable populations in the world and your voice wasn't heard? Further, the support of orphans has generational effects. As mentioned in the quotes by Anthony Lake, a UNICEF executive director, major global issues such as poverty and inadequate literacy, for example, have cyclical and generational effects. The orphans born into these families tend to be limited by their circumstances and struggle to break this cycle. Supporting orphans today paves the way for the next generation of children to be raised in a healthy and loving environment with less crime, disease, abandonment, and with an increase in economic and societal benefits for the countries in question.
The impact of the orphan crisis encompasses a number of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 3, that is good health and well-being, and Goal 10, that is reduce inequalities. By investing in institutions that allow orphans to be adequately nourished, have a proper shelter, and create meaningful friendships with peers, we are ensuring that orphans have a good health, both physical and mental, as well as being equipped with the capacity to manage stress, to live with a purpose, and to lead happy and fulfilling lives. Furthermore, these investments reduce the inequalities within countries by setting orphans on equal footing as other children in terms of education and job prospects. This way, orphans won't need to worry about their basic needs being met and can focus on their self-actualization, which is achieving one's full potential. Because of the lack of food, money, and other resources, families feel obligated to give up their child to an orphanage. A quote from a parent says that if my child is in an orphanage, at least they'll eat, at least they'll have a chance to go to school, at least they'll have a chance at life.
Parents often feel unqualified to take care of their children when they lack education or a stable job, and they believe they have no other option than to surrender their child because of their extenuating circumstances. So addressing these goals of ensuring well-being and the development of children through the support and strengthening of families, our project will have a snowball effect, improving lives for families and reducing the devastating impact and extent of the orphan crisis. Research has shown that current solutions, such as large orphanages, prove to be unsustainable. Hence, we are proposing to solve the orphan crisis through support of parents and families to reduce the abandonment of orphans due to poverty, lack of education or job, or health and safety reasons.
So what will we do with the grant funds? First, we will begin by working with established nonprofit organizations to get our project some more support and have a greater impact. SOS Children's Villages Canada is an example. SOS has family strengthening programs that include supporting skills training, small business and micro enterprise initiatives, and community development programs. These projects align with our goals and plans to support families with resources to protect and care for their children. Further, we will ensure grant funds will also go towards reducing the discrimination in terms of accessibility of care within the orphan population, ensuring proper resources for girls, children with disabilities, and minority ethnic groups.
In terms of the team you're supporting, we will briefly tell you about the work that we do at Through Their Eyes. At Through Their Eyes, we strive to care for and spread awareness on the plights of orphans all over the world through the generous support of McGill students, alumni, and friends. We're able to sponsor a number of orphan children and ensure the highest level of care in terms of living situation, health, food, and education. Further, we help spread awareness through seminars and conflict, providing insights to students and help them prioritize their giving. Here are some of the drawings that were sent in by our partner NGOs to update us on the orphan situation. The orphans under our care are able to go to school, support their families, and have fun as children. Through the support of the grant and YSP, we will be continuing our efforts in helping orphans and their families' lives and implement sustainable solutions.
A specific project in our minds, as an example, is the Gunjula Early Child Development Project in Uganda with SOS Children's Villages. So why did we specifically choose Uganda? That's because the statistics show that less than 81 children in Uganda are orphaned every day. That's about 1 every 20 minutes. Currently, at least 1 in every 4 Ugandan households has an orphan. Every 30 minutes, an orphan ages out of the system and enter the world without a family, a source of income, and in most cases, without enough education to even gain employment. Nearly 9% of the orphans who age out of the system eventually commit suicide.
So the SOS Children's Villages Early Childhood Development Program helps promote the development of social skills, intelligence, language, creativity during the most important developmental stages of a child's life. These efforts work to support families and their children, especially when orphans age out and enter society. With interventions, we can help orphan populations contribute to their families and to the betterment of society as a whole. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation today, and we hope that you can support us in pursuing our project and goals.
Thank you. Thank you, Mariam and Sana. Very good presentation. Just want to get something out of the way first. For the judges, please keep please keep just a question. The comment, you can comment after all the presentations are done. So just to get things rolling, and then yeah, that's it. So again, Honorable Emanuela, do you have a question?
Yes, so it's tough for me not to add context to my questions, but I'll try. So just to make sure that I understood correctly, your project seeks to support families that already have children that they've adopted, basically, so that during the early developmental stages, these children will have what they need to have a successful future. Currently, you're working with McGill, and the program that you're with has I guess sponsored these kids. How exactly does that work, and what are you? How are you holding them accountable with the money that's being sent?
Yeah, so right now we have our own club initiatives that we deal with, and that's mainly with supporting the orphans that are under our care. We work with partner nonprofit organizations such as SOS that we have mentioned in this presentation, and another one is Islamic Relief. And we kind of were based, we were a new club about 4 years ago, and we kind of stemmed from first the Muslim Students Association, and now we're taking on these orphans. And we actually really value having kind of friendships and partnerships with our donors. It's not very like through a screen or kind of like that. We kind of try to get everyone involved personally. And with that kind of comes the accountability. So with the spreading awareness in the seminars, things like that, we try to stay as open and as transparent and as unbiased. And we just want to have the most kind of educated conversations and the best kind of partnerships and friendships with our donors to make sure the children that we have under our care right now get the resources that they need.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Franco, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you for an excellent presentation again. And of course, it's yet another urgent issue that we're facing. With regards to the feasibility of the solution that you're trying to present, what can you add to what you presented in your presentation?
So because we understand the orphan crisis, we said 140 million children worldwide. The orphan rate, the reduction rate is only about 0.7% and it's slowly decreasing, but there's not enough being done. So our first steps is to reaching out to these organizations that have specific impacts in terms of first family strengthening programs, because if you want to mediate kind of reducing orphan crisis, you need to start at the root with the abandonment, and that, as we said, 90% of orphans actually have a living parent to care for them. So if we're able to support these families through reaching out to already established organizations, we can pilot our project a bit and have greater impact and greater support. And so reaching out to organizations like YSP or SOS Children's Villages, for example, who have the same goals and the same values in mind, and are more transparent with the aid that they give, that's kind of the first step into establishing our goals before taking it to the next step.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
Joanne, would you like to ask a question? Joanne, are you there? You're okay? No question? Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to the last presentation, team 3. This is Sasha Tarasova. She's from Toronto. Welcome, Sasha.
Thank you. Okay. So hi everyone. My name is Sasha. I'm from Mississauga, like right next to Toronto. I'm in my first year at McMaster Social Sciences, and this is my project, United into One. So this project is named after a song I know called United into One, which lyrics reflected my vision for this project very well. They say, unite into one, bring about one nation uniting all the people of the world. And come, you people all around the world, let's unite into one, now resolved to end the deep resentment of the long centuries past. This song imagines a united world of peace between all religions and nations. So my idea for this project came from a course I took in high school called World Religions. In this course, I learned how diverse my community was. So I live in Mississauga, Ontario, and I learned that it is home to one of the largest Hindu temples in North America. There's also a very big Christian community and a private Muslim high school. Another thing I learned is that every single religion that we learned about had a very, very big emphasis on helping out the community. In Christianity, Jesus' main teaching was treat others as you would like to be treated. And 5 pillars of faith in Islam is zakat, sharing wealth with those in need. And in Hinduism, a very common tradition at weddings is to share wedding banquet with the poor. So in Mississauga, all these communities coexist within just a 10-minute drive from my home and engage in community service within their communities. So I came to think, why are we not doing community service work together? Why do we limit ourselves to our own communities? I myself am a part of a Christian youth group called CHARP, and I wanted to create a project that provided an opportunity to meet and befriend other youth groups. Through the development of technology and transportation, we live in the most accessible age in history. And this brings me to the issue that this project aims to solve, is that there are still divides and separation between religious groups, even those that live so near to each other, like my community. Through this project, I want to unite with other religious youth communities through giving. Simple activities such as picking up garbage, planting trees, or soup kitchens are often taken on by religious communities. By doing them together, we can also unite with each other and reach a wider audience. Uniting to One aims to promote peace by encouraging youth to advocate for and advance unity among people of all cultural and religious backgrounds. By practicing respect and mutual understanding through personal interactions, dialogue, and partnerships, United to One creates opportunities for youth to build sustainable intercultural and interfaith communities. When differences and similarities are explored in a safe environment, youth will learn to understand, tolerate, and respect one another while fostering friendships across cultural and religious barriers. These youth will then go on to become future leaders and policymakers that shape our society, so it is important that they get along and keep in mind the peace and community work as they become future leaders. Our mission statement is as follows. United to One exists to promote peace and unity between different cultures and religions by empowering youth through personal interactions, dialogue, and partnerships. United to One seeks to mobilize youth from all cultural and religious backgrounds to lead the way towards a peaceful tomorrow. The UN Sustainability Development Goal that United to One pursues is, of course, partnerships. Positive and strong relationships between groups is the only way to achieve the rest of the Sustainability Development Goals. So Goal 17 is actually a goal that I used to kind of neglect. Like it's the last one, and I used to a little bit, used to not realize its importance. But partnerships, through this project, we can support all the other goals. For example, picking up garbage or planting trees supports Goal 13, climate action, and Goal 15, life on land. A soup kitchen supports Goal 1, no poverty, and Goal 2, zero hunger. United to One is a very simple but effective project that can be organized anywhere. Through a quick Google search, you can find opportunities for community service around you. Near myself, there is Eden Food Bank, which welcomes donations from local schools, businesses, and youth groups. Local religious organizations, churches, mosques, and temples often have their own programs that are always excited to see volunteers. And of course, there's always lakes and parks all around us that we can organize activities ourselves and take care of. So United to One will be advertised through emails, posted on social media. Additionally, my own youth group, CHARP, has been visiting various places of worship monthly for over a year leading up to the pandemic. Using the connections we built during this time as a foundation, we can extend that net to do community service together once a month. Engaging in a diverse range of work with many different people and in many different places. Like I talked about earlier, our community is extremely diverse. And I want to do this to be an opportunity to not only help the community, but also really get to know what our community looks like, who our neighbors are, and how they live, which is essential for future leaders to be able to do. Down the road, this project could break down international barriers through cross-border activities and dialogue, working on a global level. As for the grants, I hope to use the money for activity fees, anything like equipment, food, or transportation fees that we might need for our service projects. Overall, United to One is a very doable project applicable to almost any community. It encourages youth to interact with and give back to their community while building valuable connections and understanding between groups that will help build a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you for presenting and coming on. Wonderful presentation. So, yeah, Honorable Emanuela, do you have a question for Sasha?
Yeah, actually, it's more of a general question, but Sasha, I liked your project, and I'd like to know what you would suggest to do in order to encourage people of many different faiths to come together in order to help good causes? I know that there's a lot of work that already gets done, and a lot of people already see this as like a good way of coming together and making the world a better place, and setting aside everybody's differences in order to do what we all have in common, which is, to want what's best for the world. I just was curious as to what you would do if you were organizing such a partnership, and what how would you encourage and entice people to take part?
I think the reason I came up with like a community service in the first place is that I thought what religious group especially could say no to helping, and I thought it would be just a very simple, very easy way for people to come together, even if we're not uniting on beliefs or on faith, just to be together and unite and do things to help people around us is the simplest way to unite. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Franco?
Thank you, Sasha. That was an excellent presentation, and you're tackling an enormous issue. And we know that unless there's peace among religions, there can't be peace, and many other good things stemming from that. My question is the enormity of this matter. I mean, we're talking something that has affected humankind for such a long time. How realistic is what you're trying to do? It's very idealistic, but how realistic is this? What steps can you practically take in order to make this happen?
I think, I don't know, I feel it's possible because, again, like, I think any religious group will be very excited to help, but also just starting locally. And I don't want to jump to, discussing beliefs, discussing anything big, but just to exist together and do something together for other people around us. And in that way, as these youth that participate in this project grow up, they might not necessarily agree with other religions, but they will respect and just consider each other as part of one big society, one big community is my goal. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for Joanne, I think she's having difficulty joining, so I'm just gonna, I think she's gonna try to ask a question through the chat. Just gonna, sorry about this technical difficulty. Hopefully she can respond. Hi, Joanne, are you here? Okay, so her question is, do you have a project here in Canada? Yeah, I guess what current project are you doing in Canada?
So yeah, like I think I listened to the other presentations. Compared to the others, this is not an existing project yet. And it's something that I've been thinking about before, but it really came into the form that it is today as I was preparing for NERGY. So I think, yeah, no, right now it isn't happening, but this is my plan.
Great, okay. All right, well, thank you. Thank you to all the teams that presented. You're very courageous, to say the least. So congratulations on just making it this far. Now we'll just show, now we'll just show a short video. But before that, the audience, it is your turn to act. So I am going to share a link in the chat. So I'm going to put it in the Zoom chat to everyone. Okay, you should see it now. I'm going to share my screen real quick. So I'm going to share my screen to show you how it looks like. So if you click on the link, you should see this. So this is only for the audience. So participants and judges, you don't need to do this. You will find this screen. You click on vote here or vote here, doesn't matter. And when you click on vote, you will rank 1, 2, and 3. And then you kind of, so how it works is you click on who you want to be first. So you click on first, let's say Mariam, and second, you click on Sasha, and then third, Rafaela, like that. So then this would be your thing. You can always change it. So I click on number 1, and then on the right circle, click on, let's say Rafaela for number 1, like that. Okay, so you should be able to figure it out. So while the audience votes, we'll show a short video from YSP Europe. So YSP Europe presented a fun video for you to understand better what we're doing at YSP. So our tech guy, Ko, could you take it away?
For me, YSP means responsibility,
integrity,
service,
empathy,
to keep my hands on myself. Baby girl isn't me. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel, just for Kingston. I've been feeling it since 1966. I'll be over and out.
The International Association of Youth and Students for Peace, or in short YSP, is an organization connecting teenagers and young adults throughout the world and empowering us with a new vision for the future. We are not powerless about the flow of history, just like we are not powerless about our own lives. With responsibility and integrity, we can make our own lives bright and fulfilling. With service and empathy, we can together shape the future of our communities, our nations, and even the whole world. How shall we make that future look like? One where we fight each other to each secure our own benefit? Or one where we truly care for one another and give as much as we take? It's up to you, and it's up to me.
Our goal is not only to phantom about a brighter future, but to truly take the initiative as young people to make it a reality. What kind of initiatives? Well, we follow the idea of the 17 sustainable goals set by the UN in 2015. So along these sustainable goals, we organize peace designer tables, service projects, interfaith gatherings, and we seek for partnership with different kinds of NGOs. And our main goal is to one day work with the UN. So we are not only active in Germany, France, Hungary, Czech, but in many different European countries and in the world. So we strive to work beyond culture barriers, to follow common values, to be in unity as one youth.
Oh, good to see you. Actually, there is one more thing to go. Since you know who we are and what we do, there is also a question, what are we doing here on YouTube channel? So we wanna produce a good quality materials for you, as well creating a group of people willing to change something and improve in themselves. This is a great possibility, and this is YSP YouTube channel on which we wanna invite you. Stay tuned, subscribe, and see you soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
subscribe, thanks. See you very soon.
Okay, thank you. So the votes are in. I just need to calculate it. I'm sorry. It will take 3 seconds. So, yeah. The power of Excel, everyone. You can do stuff in a flash. Okay, so before we go to the final results, I will give the opportunity for the judges to each comment on every team. So you can say something, whatever you want, advice or yeah, whatever you want. So Honorable Emanuela, would you like to start? You can comment on all three teams. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to just say how inspiring this was. And I'm really happy that our youth is getting involved to make Canada and the world a better place. Your voices are absolutely necessary. And the fact that you guys feel so passionately about your projects is very telling of what is to come. And this is only the beginning. I also want to say, don't give up. Sometimes when we embark on a project, we think that it's really big and that people aren't really listening. But as long as you're persistent and you continue to fight for what you believe in, things will start to materialize. And I just want to give you that shout out. So congratulations to all of you for getting involved and for doing the things that you think you can do to make the world a better place. I know I've said that like many times, but it's actually each and every one of us is key in doing that. And every time someone does something for the good of humanity, the world does become a better place. And this is the only way to think about it, because there's a lot of negative stuff in the world too, but we are only in control of what we're able to do. So congratulations, and please continue your excellent work. And if you guys would like a one-on-one meeting with me, again, the door's open. I'm happy to see how I can help all of you in your projects.
Great. Thank you so much, Emanuela. Dr. Franco, do you have any words as well?
Well, yes, and it is really tremendously inspiring to listen to the youth. All of you have taken on some enormous challenges. The porn issue, orphanage, the unity of the world. I mean, these are enormous tasks, and I really am encouraged and inspired by the idealism, the passion, the sense of determination that you all expressed. And I really want to encourage you to continue with that and never, never quit, no matter how challenging the issues are. I also would like to see you collaborate with each other, because your presentations are all connected to each other. I can see that the issues that were dealt by I want to get the names and pronounce them properly, Rafaela and Tabitha, and Miriam and Sana and Sasha are all related to each other. And so all we can do to help you and support you, we will do our best. So Godspeed, God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Franco. Thank you for also judging. Joanne, I think she's GG. So I texted her, but by the way, she's in the mountains right now, so she's enjoying the wonderful nature in the south. So sorry, I just need to think what to do. Okay, so I'll just go right ahead and announce the rankings. So in first place, actually no, third place, right? We start with third and then second first. In third place for $200, congratulations to #UniteIntoOne, Sasha, good job. Now in second place for $300, and they get to present at against the US. We have Through Their Eyes, Miriam and Sana. Congratulations. Congratulations. And finally, in first place, we all know Arrêté Exploitation Hub. Congratulations to Tabitha and Rafaela. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I'll be contacting you soon so we can arrange the check. Finally, I just want to thank, before we conclude, thank our sponsors. We have Universal Peace Federation, that's highly providing the grant, and the contributors, the donors to YSP as well. Thank you so much. We want to thank our tech guy, Ko. Thank you, Ko, for your wonderful work with tech. Thank you to Honorable Emanuela. Thank you, Dr. Reverend Franco. And thank you, Joanne. And now to all our speakers and to you, the audience, for attending and making this an awesome noontime. I know you sacrificed your lunch for this, so thank you. So this concludes the first annual YSP Synergy competition, and see you next year. Thank you, guys. Bye.